Valerie Valdes' novel Chilling Effect was shortlisted for the 2021 Arthur C. Clarke Award and named them of Library Journal's Best SF Fantasy Novels of 2019. The sequel, Prime Deceptions, was published in 2020, and the third book is forthcoming. She lives in Georgia with her husband, children, and cats. We have a sample cat right here. Valerie, over to you.
Thank you so much. All right, without much ado, I'll jump right in. I'm reading from the beginning of Prime Deceptions, which is the second book in my series. As stated, the third book, Fault Tolerance, will be coming out this May. Prime Deceptions is on sale right now if anybody wants to go grab it. Chapter 1, Kick the Puppies. Captain Eva Inocente ran through the snow, trying to ignore that her pants were on fire. It wasn't actually snow so much as a highly flammable form of crystalline methane precipitating peacefully from the sky of the aptly named planet Gamma. She also wasn't actually running, more of an aggressive hobble that wanted very badly to be a run, but her left grab boot was randomly malfunctioning and sticking her to the ground, so she kept having to send a deactivation command through her comlink to get moving again. Her pants were definitely on fire, though, blue and magenta because of the methane. Her spacesuit protected her from burns, or she would have been more worried about it. And while it would have been funny to note that the fire started immediately after she lied to someone, at the moment she was focused on not getting shot by that person and his accomplices, who were chasing her. Ava darted behind a rock formation as a bolt of plasma seared past her head. She would have loved to get her own pistol out, but she needed both hands to carry the package she'd gone to Kemma to steal. Well, steal back, since it had been stolen in the first place. Regardless, she had no hands with which to defend herself, so she had to rely on others. Help, she pinged at Bakar, who was supposed to be providing cover fire. Her Quenian partner was much faster than she was, given his functioning boots and longer backbending legs. She'd lost track of him in the snow, which in her immediate vicinity was now falling in tiny blue flames as the bits stuck to her legs burned higher and brighter. The air around her shimmered with heat, and she was glad her nose was protected by the bubble of her ISO helmet, because she was sure it smelled like spicy farts outside. No answer from Bakar, either because of weather interference or because the Blue Hounder mercenaries behind her had signal scramblers. The dog-like bipedal Truateg definitely had expensive plasma rifles, no doubt courtesy of their suppliers at the fridge. Working for an intergalactic crime syndicate had its perks, which Ava was a little salty about. Why did the bad guys always get better stuff than she did? A shot tore through the air so fast it left a trail of blazing purple-blue, coming from in front of her instead of behind. Either she'd been flanked or... A second later, the sonic boom reached her and Ava grinned. Unless the Mercs had added sniper rifles to their arsenal, that was definitely pink. And if her co-captain had arrived, that meant La Sirena Negra couldn't be far behind. Ava darted from behind her cover toward another rocky pillar, lurching forward and cursing every time her grab boot stuck. The methane-fueled fire was up to her chest now, making visibility even more difficult. She shifted the package so most of its weight was on her right side. The damn thing was heavy and bulky, and she hadn't expected to be carrying it while running and being shot at. Another plasma bolt narrowly avoided her, sizzling against the rock as she ducked behind it. She thanked the Virgin these Mercs weren't better shots, though come to think of it, that was a little odd. People who got paid to shoot things to death tended to be pretty good at it, or they didn't get paid for long. Unless they were hurting her. The click whine of a rifle being armed next to her head made her freeze, as much as it was possible to freeze while on fire. "Get back to cargo," the Merc said. His voice came through her translators as whiny despite his broad, jowly features and beady eyes. "Wasn't yours in the first place, mijo," Ava said. Why hadn't he shot her already? "Who hired you?" he snarled, a line of drool falling into his collar. "How did you learn about this facility?" "Ah, information, the real currency of the cosmos." "A little bird told me," Ava said. He pressed the muzzle of his rifle to the spot where her ISO helmet met her suit. "Do not speak in idioms, human. Answer my questions or die." "Can't answer questions if I'm dead, mijo," Ava replied. "Nice rifle, by the way. You get that out of a catalog with your parents' credit line?" The Merc made an angry horking sound. "I earned this, you hairless whelp. I've been a mercenary for longer than you've been alive." "And you haven't retired yet? Que lastima, you must not be very good at it." "Enough," the Truateg shouted. "You and your pack playing at a profession you barely understand. It makes my testicles itch." Ava almost snarked at that, but something moved behind the murk, the palest of shadows, silent as snow. When I was your age, the merc continued, we had respect for our elders, for the mercenary code. You don't even have a proper uniform. Times change, Ava said. Oh yeah, could you hold this for a second? She thrust the package at the merc, who grabbed it reflexively. His rifle swung away from her, and she activated the present Vakar had gotten her for her last birth date, a set of sonic knuckles that formed glowing gold rings around her fingers. Her first punch landed in the Truitech's gut, the second on his shoulder, and by the third, Vakar had stepped up to wrench away the rifle and drop the merc with a blow to the back. Ava deactivated her knuckles and took the stolen package back, giving the half-conscious Truitech an extra kick in the junk for good measure. Where are the others? Ava asked. Gaining ground. Vakar took the package from her, nearly invisible as his shiny metal armor reflected the whiteness of the not snow around him. We should complete our evacuation. Did you sabotage their ship like I asked you? I would have reached you sooner if I had not, he replied. Their navigation systems will be installing a false software update for the next half cycle at least. Dios mío, that's evil, Ava said, grinning. Vámonos, let's get out of here before I turn into carne asada. Location? She pinged at Min. Look up, came the pilot's reply. La Sirena Negra roared in, its dark hull obscured by the methane snow coating the shields. Min brought the ship to a stop so that it hovered a meter above them, breaking some of the stone spires in the process. Ava and Vakar raced over to the emergency hatch. You first, Ava told Vakar. Get that damn thing inside or we don't get paid. He shifted the package to one side and began to climb awkwardly with his free claw. Just as Ava started to join him, her grab boots stuck to the ground again. This time, it refused to obey her mental command to deactivate, so she had to release the ladder and crouch down to examine the stubborn thing. A bolt of plasma streaked past, followed by a gargling howl from the Truitech. Ava stayed low and frantically jabbed at the manual release on the outer sole of the boot, still not responding. Worthless feces liquor, shouted one of the mercs. Taste my vengeance. Tastes like chicken, Ava shouted back. Not that they knew what chicken was. A sonic boom overhead told her Pink was providing cover fire, buying her a few plasma-free moments. The methane flames completely coated Ava now, but she still couldn't get her damn grab boot free. With a frustrated groan, she activated her sonic knuckles again and punched the ground around her foot, breaking up the pale rock into gravel-sized pieces. There just needed to be enough left to trick the boots into sticking to them, instead of the solid parts underneath. A searing pain in her thigh made Ava hiss and bite down hard. Somebody had finally hit her. Unfortunately, that meant her suit was compromised, so she didn't have long before the methane flames worked their way in as well. Ava punched the ground one last time, and finally her grab boot shifted. La Sirena Negra hovered above her, with Vakar now dangling upside down from the ladder as he reached his free claw out to her. Grunting, Ava jumped awkwardly with her good leg and grabbed his arm with both hands. Shots sizzled through the snow around her as the ship shifted, her injury making her scream. Vakar did the galaxy's most insane sit-up and hoisted her into the emergency axis, the hatch closing behind her as soon as she was fully inside. He released her gently, and she collapsed onto the floor, breathing heavily. Jump, Ava pinged at Min. The pilot's response was nearly instant, the whine of the FTL drive preceding the stomach-wrenching sensation of artificial gravity compensating for sudden acceleration. Ava could picture Gemma receding behind them as they flew off into the black, toward the nearest gate a few hours away. They'd made it, and they had the package they'd gone to retrieve, which meant they'd get paid. Despite the pain in her thigh, Ava felt cold with relief. No, not just relief, also the fire extinguishers, coating her in chemicals to stop her from burning up the ship. In moments, she was covered in pale blue gel, slippery as a ditch rook during mating season, but no longer aflame. Ava deactivated her helmet, which dropped a load of the gel into her black hair. Vakar retracted his helmet as well, releasing mingled smells of incense and licorice. He was worried about her. I'll be fine, she muttered to Vakar, tugging off her busted grab boot and throwing it against the hull. But I'm definitely going to need a new pair of pants.